Hi, this is the FLL Mentor channel. Our goal is to provide tips, tricks, and advice for FLL robotics. Please support this channel by liking this video and subscribing to us on YouTube. You can also follow our Instagram and Facebook page, which is the FLL Mentor. Today, we will be discussing one of my favorite parts and one of the most important parts of robotics, the project. I'm going to cover the yearly theme, how to choose the project, the right way to attack the project, and the best way to present it. I'll also be sharing some other tips and tricks that I've learned from my experience with the project. The project. The project is a huge part of robotics. Obviously, it's a project based around a yearly theme, which I'll talk more about later in the video. To do well in the project part of robotics, you need to have a project that's impactful, realistic, and well presented, and much more. You present your project to judges that are usually scientists or engineers. They will then judge it based around a rubric that's attached in this description below. Okay, this is yearly theme. Yearly theme. The yearly theme is a specific subject that the robot challenges in your project have to be based on. For example, Trash Track was a theme that focused on trash. The challenges were things like a composting machine and picking up plastic bags. Our project focused on reducing plastic waste. When the yearly theme is revealed, it's a great idea to already start thinking of some project ideas and go ahead and start researching them. How to choose your project. Choosing your project is one of the most important choices that you can make. I strongly recommend having a discussion with your whole team and coming up with a list of mini projects that you'll be interested in. Obviously, these need to be related to the theme. Take that list and vote on them, and make sure you limit it down to your top ideas. Once you have a smaller number of project ideas, each member of the team should take one or two of them and research. Have everyone present their research and then vote on them. The winners of this vote should hopefully be your best options. Make sure that the project you choose is something that will actually make for a good project, not just because it's something easy or cool or super fun. What I mean by this is that many teams choose really cool projects, but they're not reasonable. For example, during Trash Track, there were many teams who did really cool projects. For example, a team in Malaysia developed a robot that actually worked, that could pick up cigarette butts and dispose of them. This is a great project because one, it was something the team could actually, participate hands-on with. Two, it was realistic. On the other hand, I met a team mostly of pretty young kids whose whole project was just a trifold poster explaining why they wanted to send plastic up to space. First of all, this isn't a very creative or innovative project. Second of all, it wasn't really possible for these kids to take part of the solution or actually make some sort of change. So make sure your project is original, innovative, and that you're actually able to act on it. You don't need to have a fully working or fully developed project, but put enough research into it to where you can actually start to take action. An example of this was my team during the hydrodynamics year. By the way, there's a link in the description of the past year's themes, and it's down there. And I recommend taking a look at this link and getting familiar with some of the winning projects. And take a look at the robotics challenges as well. This will just give you sort of an idea of how yearly themes work. Anyways, our project during hydrodynamics was a chemical that you could put in pools that would basically work as some sort of super sunscreen. It was not a finished product, but we had done a lot of research. We even bought some different chemicals, and with the help of one of our chemist friends, we tested some of these chemicals at a local lab. This project was great because we were actually involved with it. Not only did we come up with an idea and did research on it, but we took action. This is one of the big things that judges are looking for. How to work on your project. At the beginning of the robotics season, you should plan out your year. Estimate how much time each thing should take and set some goals for yourself. Plan your practices accordingly. Make sure that everyone on the team is involved. I have, and I will continue to stress, that everyone should know everything. In the project, this looks like everybody should be able to answer all of the same questions and tell about each part of your project. Make sure that the members of your team are really talking to you and not just repeating things off of a script. I say this because at competitions, some teams actually have a script that they say. And it's usually pretty obvious that some team members of certain teams don't really understand or are involved with the project, and that they're just repeating what's on the script. So make sure that everyone is involved during every part of the project to prevent this. How to present your project. I'm going to make another video later about this, and it's going to cover presenting your project in a lot more detail than I will right now. But I am going to give you a few little tips and things to start you off. 1. Be serious and professional. It sort of sucks to, walk into a robotics competition doing hours and hours of research and done extensive testing on a project that you're doing or something, and then another team walks in to present it and they're wearing like costumes and doing a little skit. It's sort of demeaning to people who have actually done some really hard work. And whether or not you're super young or you're almost about to graduate out of the program, you're still able to be serious. And I'm not saying you can't joke around or you can't have fun, but I am saying just make sure that it's professional. Next, the actual presentation should be easy to follow. Don't make it confusing. Remember that you're presenting to the judges and that they're judging you based on your project and your presentation. So make sure that you really design it to where they can understand. Next, I highly recommend creating some sort of script. Practice the script until your team can do it in their sleep. It's very uncomfortable to the judges when teams are very choppy and their presentations are confusing. Also, make sure that the script is passed to one another. This means just instead of one person abruptly stopping in the middle of their speech and then passing it on to the next person, make sure that you have sort of phrases like this. And that's why chocolate is the best flavor of ice cream. Joe, could you help me explain why this is the best flavor? And then the next person would start speaking. So this creates sort of a conversational effect, and it makes the judges feel more comfortable listening to you instead of just watching people read off a script. Also, if you have a script, do not bring in a piece of paper. You cannot do this. This looks so unprofessional if your team is just reading there, just looking on the scripts like that. It makes it seem like they haven't practiced and that somebody just typed it up and this is the first time they're going over it. So make sure that it looks like they're having a conversation about it. Make sure that it's also professional. Again, I said that earlier, but also that everybody is talking. So even if the youngest person on the team who maybe doesn't know as much about science or anything, I don't know, whatever it is, or maybe somebody isn't there at all the practices, just make sure everybody has a generally equal speaking time. And if you have a really big team, this can be hard. So, I don't know, just make good decisions so that it looks like everybody's involved. Again, I'm going to cover more about this in another video I make. I have some stories and experiences that can definitely help you decide how to best present your project. With that, I'm going to share some other tips. I hope that this is obvious, but please make sure you read the rules. Sometimes there's restrictions for what you can do with your project, or what your project can be. For example, one year during hydrodynamics, teams were not allowed to use water in their presentation. But one team that I helped tutor didn't know this until like 2 weeks before and had to pretty much completely change their project up. Be aware that there are restrictions and they'll release these restrictions in the project guide. So just before you start creating a project, make sure you read through that so you can make sure that your project is basically legal because you don't want to get disqualified. I hope that this video has helped you learn about the project and about how you should tackle it. The project is my favorite part of FLL, and hopefully you'll enjoy it as much as I do. Please remember to like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.